What if I told you that one of the biggest investment opportunities on the planet was hiding in plain sight, covering more than half of all the land on Earth? These are the world's vast open landscapes, often overlooked, but they hold an incredible secret. So today, we're pulling back the curtain on the powerful business case for restoring the world's rangelands.
Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the sheer scale of these so-called forgotten lands. Because they are so much more than just empty spaces on a map. They're a critical, living, breathing part of our entire global ecosystem.
Just picture it for a moment. The sweeping savannas of Africa, the endless steppes of Central Asia, the high mountain pastures of Europe. These are the rangelands. And, just look at this picture. They are absolutely beautiful, they are teeming with biodiversity, and they are foundational to the heritage of so many cultures.
And here is the number that just stops you in your tracks. 54%. Rangelands cover 54% of the Earth's entire land surface. Just let that sink in. That's over half the planet. It's more than all the forests, all the cities, and all the croplands combined. A colossal and, critically overlooked part of our world.
And these lands? They are far from empty. They are home to 500 million people. Pastoralists who've been managing these ecosystems for centuries. You could say they're the original custodians. Their cultures and their livelihoods are just deeply woven into the health of the land.
And the way pastoralists live is really a masterclass in adaptation. Their whole system is based on herd mobility, strategically moving their animals to follow the rains and the seasons. Now, this isn't just random wandering. It's absolutely essential for their own survival and, crucially, for the health of the rangelands themselves. It prevents overgrazing and lets the land breathe and recover.
But this ancient, symbiotic relationship is now facing a really profound threat. There's a silent crisis that's spreading across these vast landscapes, and it's putting both people and the planet in peril. So let's dig into how this is all unfolding.
The core of the problem is something called rangeland degradation. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's when these lands persistently lose their ability to do their job, to grow fodder, to support wildlife, to store carbon, and to manage water. Basically, the entire ecosystem just begins to break down.
And the scale of this is frankly shocking. Current estimates suggest that up to a third of all the world's rangelands are already degraded. That is an area of continental proportions that's becoming less and less productive every single year.
So what's causing it all? Well, as you can see here, it's pretty much a perfect storm. When that traditional herd mobility is lost, you get overgrazing. When land gets converted for crops or sliced up by roads, the ecosystem gets fragmented. Then you add in invasive species, accelerating climate change, and policies that just fail to protect the land, and you've got a recipe for collapse. And the consequences of this are severe. This isn't just about losing some grass. Rangeland degradation directly fuels poverty for the communities who depend on it. It destroys habitats for countless species, it releases huge amounts of carbon into the atmosphere, and it makes entire regions way more vulnerable to drought.
But here's where the story takes a really fascinating turn. This isn't just a story about a problem, it's about a massive, multi-trillion-dollar opportunity that we're just beginning to understand. The solution isn't a cost, it's a payoff.
Just think about this for a second. What if we've been looking at this entire problem the wrong way? What if restoring these lands isn't an expense we have to endure, but one of the single most profitable investments available to us today?
Because the data is, it's staggering. A global review found that for every single dollar invested in restoring rangelands, the return, the economic benefit, is anywhere from $4 to $35. Look at that on the screen. That is a benefit-cost ratio that would make any venture capitalist do a double take. It's almost unbelievable.
So you're probably asking, where on earth does that much value come from? It's not just about more cattle, and this is what's so fascinating. Take a look at this table. The single biggest driver of value, at over $3,000 per hectare every single year, is cultural services. We're talking tourism, recreation, the simple aesthetic value of these landscapes. That's followed by the essential behind-the-scenes work they do, like building soil fertility. And only then do we get to the food and water they provide.
Okay, so this is the crucial part. How do we turn this incredible potential into a practical reality? How does restoration actually become an investment? Let's take a look at the blueprint for making it happen.
Right, so it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. You can see the two main paths here. For land that's only lightly degraded, we can use low-cost passive solutions, like helping communities bring back traditional grazing patterns over huge areas.
But for severely damaged land, you need more active solutions, like reseeding or building small water structures. They cost more, but they deliver really targeted results.
And this is where it gets really smart. Think of it like a diversified financial portfolio. Instead of just relying on one revenue stream, a single restoration project can bundle multiple values together. You've got income from sustainable livestock, payments for carbon stored in the soil, revenue from ecotourism, and even credits for conserving biodiversity. You literally stack the benefits.
And this isn't just a theory, it's already working on the ground. Take Tunisia, for example. By simply getting herding communities to agree to rest their pastures for a few years, they restored the land for just $61 per hectare. A simple, community-led, and incredibly cost-effective solution.
Or check this out. Over in Colombia, they're integrating trees and shrubs into pastures. This silvopastoral approach did more than just help the environment. It actually boosted beef production by a massive 49% per hectare, all while creating new habitats for wildlife. It's a true win-win.
So you see, this isn't just about restoring distant landscapes. It's about making a strategic, high-return investment in our collective future. So what's the big takeaway from all this? To unlock all this potential on a global scale, these conditions are absolutely essential. We have to secure land rights for the communities who live there, create real economic incentives like carbon markets, build up local skills, and form creative partnerships between public and private investors. And of course, we need to track our progress to prove that it's all working.
You know, this quote really brings it all home. Rangelands are more than just grazing areas. They are spaces where people, animals, and landscapes influence each other's futures. Looking at the data we've just walked through, this investment is clearly not just a financial calculation. It's a decision about what kind of future we want to create together. So the final question really isn't if we should invest, but how can we possibly afford not to?